All right, so you should have your notes out for section 2 in module 5. I'm just going to give you the first part of it, all about the substitution method. So make sure you're filling it in as you go. So this first section is, hey, let's review a little bit about what we learned about systems and how to solve them using graphing. So if the two lines intersect, how many solutions do we have? Well, we just have one solution, and it's right there. And it says, what happens when we use this newfound substitution or elimination method? Well, we're going to get one answer and only one answer, and it should work out. We should get real numbers, and we'll write our answer as a point, a single answer. Now, what happens when the two lines are parallel? I think we talked about that the other day. What happens if the two lines are parallel? Where do they hit? Never. There are no solutions. So what happens when you're working with algebra is you're going to get a false statement when you work these problems out. So you might get 0 equals 3 or 2 equals -2, which is not true, right? So that's how we know that the answer is no solution, no solution. What happens if the lines are literally on top of each other? So there's my red line, and then my blue line is right on top of that. Number of solutions, it is infinite. So what happens when we solve the algebra there? We're going to get a true statement this time. Something like 0 equals 0 or 3 equals 3 when we solve those algebraically. All right, so let's do a couple problems with the substitution method. I want you to get these into your notes. Now, notice up there on the right, I'm adding an extra problem. So I'm going to zoom in there, and I want you to copy that into your notes because this is kind of like a level 1, level 2 problem I want to start out with. So for the substitution method, we're not using Desmos. We're not graphing the two lines and figuring out where they hit. So we're not using Desmos. Instead, we're going to substitute. So we're going to take the fact that y is the same thing as 2x plus 6, and we're going to plug that into the other equation. You see how one of the equations was already set up and solved for y? So that was pretty easy to just substitute that into the other equation. So the other equation is 2x plus y equals -2. But instead of writing a y, what am I going to do? I'm going to put 2x plus 6 right in there. And then I just solve this out. This is 4x plus 6 equals -2. I want to solve for x. To get x by itself, I got to subtract 6 on both sides. 4x equals -8. Divide by 4, x equals -2. All right, remember, answers to systems are points. So we have half the answer now. So half of the answer is -2 comma something, because that was x. How do we get the y value? I get that question a lot. How do you get the y value? How do you get the second number? Well, you just plug that x equals -2 into one of the equations up top. So I'm going to use the y equals 2x plus 6 equation and plug in -2. So y equals -4 plus 6, y equals 2. Well, look at that. We can plug that in to our answer and write the full answer as a point. Remember what I said when we use Desmos or use our graphing methods? I said the graph was not the answer. We have to actually write the point. That is the xy combination that works in both of the equations. Okay, so this was sort of level 1, level 2 of the substitution method. So let me zoom back out and go over to the example 1. Example 1 is kind of like a level 2, level 3 problem. Couple things are different here. Neither of them is solved for y equals or x equals, and you'll see what else is different here in a moment. I think I'm going to solve the second equation for x because I think that would be the easiest to do, right? All I have to do is minus 2y on both sides. So I see x is the same thing as 2 minus 2y, or you can write -2y plus 2 if you want. All right, so that's going to be my substitution that I need to plug in to the other equation. So 3x plus 4y equals negative 4. Now, what am I going to erase? Am I going to erase the x or the y? What am I taking out of the game? Well, this says that x is the same thing as 2 minus 2y. So I think I want to take out the x. So I'm going to delete the x, remove that, and what am I putting in again? I'm going to put 2 minus 2y right in there. You see how I had to put it in parentheses also? That's really important. So remember I said there was a second trick to this, and the second trick is that we have to do the distributive property. So we launch our little missiles here and get 6 minus 6y plus 4y equals negative 4, and now we're pretty well home free, right? We're just solving an equation. 6 minus 2y equals negative 4. We minus 6 on both sides, we get negative 2y equals negative 10, y equals positive 5 when you divide by negative 2 on both sides. So let's come up here and we'll start to write our answer. But what do you notice that we did this time? We got the y value first. So make sure you put that in the right place. It's the second number there. Okay, to get the x value, personally, I would use that right there. The fact that x is the same thing as 2 minus 2y. So let's put our y in there. X equals 2 minus 2 times 5. That's x equals 2 minus 10. X equals negative 8. We can then fill that in up here. And we've just solved a system using substitution. And this one did require using x, I think, was the easier way to do it. And there was the distributive property. So those were the two little areas that I thought were a little bit of a twist. All right, that is the end of the notes. So you can show the notes to your teacher, and I think they've got a worksheet for you to do and to check your answers on. All right, good luck.